If you've been around diesels for a while, chances are you've either heard of people with gelled diesel fuel or you've had gelled diesel fuel yourself when you're running in cold weather climates. As the temperature begins to drop below freezing, the diesel fuel can solidify and lead to fuel starvation, which will shut your engine off, and then you're on the side of the road. Now, installing a FASS Industrial Series system with our extreme water separator will remove over 99% of the water that can be found in diesel fuel, and you can add one of our electric heater options to give you the utmost reliability in cold weather climates. Today, we're going to show you how to install our high output electric heater disc, HK1002. Now let's go ahead and get this installation started. If you already have the FASS system installed, the first step you're going to want to do is go ahead and remove both FASS filters. Now, you might not want to set your fuel filters on your engine, but on our DD15 I actually found a nice little spot that holds your fuel filters upright and keeps the fuel from draining out. Okay, again, and this is only if the FASS system is already installed on your truck. What you'll want to do is remove the filter nipple O-ring from the filter nipple down here. Then go ahead and remove that filter nipple that's in the pump. After the FASS nipple is removed from the FASS system, you'll want to get your electric heater disc and place it on the pump and make sure it's angled in a way where you'll be able to easily access the electrical connector and also have plenty of clearance from the hood or any moving components around it. Now in this system, we have plenty of clearance over here, so I'm going to face the electrical connector pointing straight out. Now that you have the filter nipple removed, it's easy enough to go ahead and remove the whole pump assembly and put it on a workbench. That way when you're cleaning the diesel fuel out of those threads, you can ensure you get it nice and dry, and that way you get a good cure on the Loctite we'll put on the new filter nipple. Okay, now that your fuel lines are disconnected, go ahead and disconnect the electrical connector from the FASS motor. Go ahead and unbolt the FASS system either from the FASS bracket, or you can unbolt the FASS bracket itself from the frame, whichever is easiest. If you take a closer look, you can see that there's diesel fuel down in that fuel filter nipple bore, and if it's already been on the truck, you're definitely going to have that diesel fuel. And we test each system in-house before it goes out of the door, so again, you'll always want to make sure you get that nice and dry, and we're going to use rubbing alcohol and shop air to get it completely free of any fluid or debris. I don't know about you, but I don't like diesel fuel in my eyes, so I'm cleaning this. It's a good idea to go ahead and throw on some safety glasses. Take my rubbing alcohol and paper towel and make sure I clean those threads. Again, you want all debris and or fluid removed to give it a nice, dry, clean surface. Now that I've used the paper towel and the rubbing alcohol to wipe that pocket out, I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit of shop air just to make sure I get it nice and dry. Now take your electric heater disc and the supplied O-ring and place the supplied O-ring in the O-ring groove. Then you can set the heater disc on the filter base with the electrical connector oriented in the position that we checked earlier. Make sure your filter nipple doesn't have any fluid on it or diesel fuel, and apply the blue Loctite that is supplied in the kit. Then install the filter nipple and thread it into the FASS filter base. Now get a torque wrench and set it at 10 foot-pounds. And then gently torque the filter nipple to spec. Now that the heater disc is installed, you can go ahead and reinstall the FASS system onto the truck. Now you can go ahead and reconnect your FASS electrical connector and reconnect all the fuel lines. Now that the fuel lines are all connected, you can go ahead and reinstall your FASS filters. Now again, make sure that that filter nipple O-ring is installed on the filter nipple that is in the heater element. Now that the heater's installed on the truck and the filters are back on, we can go ahead and move on to the electrical harness installation. First, take your supplied dielectric grease. Be sure to put it in the pigtail of the relay. And don't be afraid to use too much. This is going to keep any possible moisture that could get under the relay cover, keep it out of those pins. Install your relay, and then we can install our relay cover. Now we're going to mount the FASS harness onto the truck. Now one thing to note, you won't want to hang the harness by the tab on the relay, because with that weight hanging and pulling down, what that can do is actually unplug the relay from the FASS harness. So we'll use a zip tie and secure it down at the bottom of that relay cover and onto either our wire harness over here or some air lines, somewhere secure and away from any moving or hot exhaust objects. Now we're going to route the electrical connector to the heater disc, and again, away from any moving objects like the steering shaft right here. Now, more than likely you are going to have some leftover wiring from the pigtail that goes to the heater disc, so you want to secure that up and out of the way and away from any moving objects once again. While we're here, right by the fuse holder, it's always a good idea to go ahead and make sure the fuse is installed. Then after that, we'll remove about a 1/2 inch of insulation off of the red and the green wire of the FASS harness. Now we can go ahead and crimp on our 2 ring terminals. Make sure you get a nice secure crimp. Okay, now that we have both of those crimped on, you can either route these and connect them directly to the battery terminals, or if you have a power and ground post under the hood that's rated for a high amp draw, you can connect right there and it'll save you some time. Now when you're wiring the trigger wire for the FASS harness, which will actually supply power to the relay and power the heater disc on, There's a couple different ways you can do this. You can either wire it to a toggle switch inside of the truck. That way, when it's cold outside, you can flip your toggle switch on, and this will begin heating the fuel in and around the heater disc in the FASS system before the FASS powers up. Another way you can do this, and what I would recommend doing on fleet trucks if you have numerous drivers, just wire it to a key-on ignition fuse. That way there's no confusion between drivers on how to activate the heater disc. It will just power on when it receives key-on power. And the heater disc is designed to power on when the fuel drops to 34 degrees and power off when it drops to 72 degrees, so you're not going to worry about it running and overheating the fuel in hot weather conditions. Now locate a fuse that receives key-on power and remove that fuse from the fuse panel. Now on this truck, unfortunately, there's only one fuse in this fuse panel that receives key-on ignition power. So what we can do, since this has the FASS system with the electric harness with the relay in it and the heater harness with the relay, we can run both trigger wires into one add-a fuse, and that way it keeps it nice and clean in the fuse panel, and we only have the one add-a circuit because, again, there was only the one key-on ignition fuse. Now place one or both wires into the butt connector and crimp the connection. Now you can go ahead and gently pull on that butt connector, make sure you have a nice good crimp. Now you'll place the supplied fuse with the heater kit in the top slot of the add-a circuit, and the factory fuse that you pulled out will go in the bottom slot of the add-a circuit. Now go ahead and place the add-a circuit into the fuse slot that you removed earlier. Now go ahead and power the key on to make sure the FASS system runs, and that will mean you have power to the FASS system relay and the heater disc relay. Now we can go ahead and reinstall our fuse panel lid. The fuse panel cover is reinstalled, and just go ahead and give your wiring another once over just to make sure everything's secured neatly and, once again, away from any moving or hot exhaust objects. Okay, well that wraps up our heater disc installation. Now if you prefer a paper copy of our installation manual, this can be downloaded from our website. And for more information or to order your heater disc today and to locate a dealer near you, be sure to check out FassRide.com.